For decades, schools have had a long and dark history of segregation ever since the implementation of Jim Crow laws in the South. Multitudes of Black individuals were denied equal access to housing, opportunity, and equal education.
So what has changed? Can it change? My personal experience in high school is drastically different from most minority students. Culver City High School and the Culver City School District is one of the most diverse school systems in the country. We were an anomaly among LA high schools. In order to understand why, I asked Dr. Carlos Valverde, a teacher at CCHS, why he decided to start an intercultural literature class at this high school.
We got involved, and I got involved with different activities at the school, where I created a club on our campus along with some other of the adults called the the Student Intercultural Advisory Committee. SIAC is what it was called. And we created this club mainly because of what we were looking for was to try to create a space for students to have conversations about race, culture, ethnicity, issues of diversity, because we would have tensions in our school, sometimes especially during events like Cinco de Mayo or Black History Month, especially between African American and Latino students. There would always be these tensions that existed, or students sometimes feeling that teachers were favoring certain races over others. And so we knew that these tensions existed, so what we really wanted to do is we wanted to create an opportunity for students to learn about these issues, and not only that, but then to become advocates for it. So with that, to write up and investigate how to create a course. I created a course, I got a course outline, I filled it all out, and I submitted it. Until the next 18 years, we've been offering this course. Passion came from me as very personal because it was also something that I started when I was a student in college. As I was growing as a student, I was realizing that there was a lot of students that were dealing with not just issues of access to college, but a lot of other reasons as to why many young people today don't go to college or didn't, or at least when I was younger, students weren't going to college for maybe the wrong reasons, maybe because teachers weren't talking to them about how they could have an opportunity to go somewhere, to do things. In fact, I've had a lot of parents that I've met throughout the years that have come to me either at open houses or back to school nights thanking me for having created this course. They tell me about how their students go back home and they talk about these topics and issues at the dinner table, which then enriches their dialogue with their family and friends. And I think that that's really extra special to know that kids are taking this to heart. They're spreading an idea, a message. When you ask about the Who Am I readings and getting students to be aware of their own identities, it gives them a sense of context. And especially when you're having discussions where people are using labels and identifying as this or that, kids sometimes feel safer in having these labels. Not that I say that I rely heavily on them, because eventually when we deconstruct labels, we realize that that's all they are. The students really, I spend time getting them to really reflect on their own lived experiences, any kinds of prejudices that they may have encountered. And the reason why I do that, I get kids to really think about themselves first, is because it's hard to think about others and to be understanding of others if you still haven't fully grasped who you are. And so getting kids to just kind of reflect on that a little bit is really important. The fact that this class exists amongst this diversity, I think, really makes it work, because in any given situation, any given year, you look at my student population and I'm going to have students that are completely from different parts of the world, different representative of different languages, different religions, and it's not overwhelming one group over the other. that really allows for some really healthy dialogue and naturally the structure of the school allows for that because like I said before, to me the true textbook are the students that come to class, and if you don't have that diversity then you have to figure out other ways of having these conversations. But also generally Culver City High School, there was a lot of segregation. You could see that you can walk through a campus and you can see that there were cliques based off of ethnic groups, and you can clearly see that there was, Asian groups and African American groups and white groups and Latino groups. But when this class first got implemented and students were doing their projects, um, more and more of our school administrators, students were looking at our school as saying, we are a place that's safe. We were creating environments that were active. One of these things, one of the changes we saw were clubs were getting started that dealt more with issues of gender or sexuality or race or trying to get along or places where we can have conversations. So that in itself was a product of that. And then now, 18 years later, this year, it was just really an honor to see younger teachers who have joined the staff and seeing them excited about these topics that I've been teaching, and then look to themselves and say, what can I do from my position? And we now have two social studies teachers who put their minds together and created a gender studies course and an ethnic studies course. If some of the work hadn't been done prior to this, maybe those wouldn't have been well as received as well as they have now. But to me, that's just a great way of showing that we are moving in the right direction. Those kinds of movements got really started to send the message that we are a tolerant school. We are a school that respects everyone. And I really think that a lot of that had to do with the initial work that we were doing with our club and the class, multicultural or intercultural literature, which had helped start paving the way for those movements. And look at what's happened. I've been able to create a course that's had a major impact on the school. It has given me an opportunity to teach something that I absolutely love doing. And it has helped change who we are as a school. And I just think that little action like that, a little action just by having started a course could create a snowball effect of other things. I want students to have the memory of knowing that spaces like this are possible, that we can have conversations that are controversial, deep, and reflective, but we can also be reminded of our humanity. And I think that Culver City High School has been a very unique place for that, for a lot of people that have come through here. We know that we have this unique thing happening here in amidst of Los Angeles and such a diverse location. And I think that people that go to Culver have a unique way of seeing things in life, and that is that if we can have an understanding here, a sense of respect towards others, and if we can build it here, then it can be built in other places. And if students can hold on to that and remain advocates of that change and of that understanding of each other, then just perhaps maybe we can work towards work against all of these negative forces that seem to be affecting our culture as Americans today.